106.5 FM and online. It's the After 5 Guest with Wyn Thomas.
Yes, and I'm delighted to be joined by my After 5 guest today. You'll know him as Nick Cotton of Eastenders, but also as involved in the music industry for a number of years. John Altman, thanks so much for joining me this afternoon.
Oh, good to hear you, Wyn. Yeah. And a big hi to everyone in Swansea, which I know very well. Worked there a few times. Yeah.
Great stuff. So I say you've got quite a background in music as well as acting. So the new single is Hallucinating You. How did that come about? When did you write that?
Oh gosh, I wrote it a few years ago with a couple of other people, Phil Brown and a friend called Ewan and Brady. But I've been writing songs for a long time. The music bug's been with me for years and years and years. People just don't know about it. All they can blindly see is Nick Cotton, but they don't realise there's a whole load of other stuff I've done. So I've been writing lyrics. I guess I'm mainly a lyricist for a long time. And it comes from an album that I've recorded with Mark Christopher Lee up near St Albans, and it's got 12 tracks on it, and it's coming out 20th of November.
Great, 20th of November. Is that with the band Resurrection, or is it just you and the...
No. Things get confused, don't they? No, the band Resurrection was disbanded quite a few years ago, yeah. And this is it's purely a solo effort. I've had other people join me, like Shelley Walker from Joan of Arc, a great girl rock band, and a couple of her girls done some backing vocals as well. So, and there's a video out, if anybody wants to check that out, of Hallucinating You, the single, which, we shot in an old swimming bath in Birmingham. Very picturesque, actually. Like all the Edwardian places, with all the changing rooms around the edges, and we filled it full of smoke and lights, and, shot it over a period of a day, so it was quite a quick shoot, but...
So do you...
excited about it all.
So you just write the words, then somebody else writes the music, or do you contribute the music as well?
Yeah, I do some of the music, and play a bit of percussion, also play some guitar occasionally,
You were part of a 2002 revival of the Heavy Metal Kids, and I remember that single called Uncontrollable. That was a real good song, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. The thing was, they didn't have a manager, and a band without a manager is a bit like a ship without a rudder, really. So it was quite. It was a good single. I enjoyed doing that. Yeah,
because they were. I mean, they've been going since the 70s, weren't they? They were kind of a glam rock kind of band in the beginning, weren't they?
Yeah. I remember going to see them when Gary Holt was the lead singer.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, bizarrely, the late, God rest his soul, the late Gary Holt. I remember going to see them one time. He was climbing up the tabs, as they call them, the curtains that come down in the theatre, and singing at the Music Machine in Camden. And I knew him as well. He made a veil, so we used to have a few beers together, to say the least. Yeah.
So he went
quite a wild boy, wilder than I was, I think.
So he went on to acting afterwards as well, didn't he?
Pardon?
I said he went on to acting as well afterwards.
Yes, he did a bit of that, and he was doing the music at the same time. Yeah, because he did. He was in Quadrophenia, and that's when the director saw the two of us and said, "Gosh, you look like brothers, you two." I think Gary was up for Nick Cotton of Eastenders as well. So there you go. It could have been a different story, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could have been. I
wonder what I'd be doing now. Bizarre. Yeah.
So as you said, the single is from the new album called Never Too Late to Rock and Roll. That sounds really good, doesn't it? I'm really looking forward to that.
Wyn, yeah. Because I'm a few years younger than Bruce Springsteen, and Mick Jagger's still going. I think, as you know, Wyn, once you got the rock and roll bug, the buzz, it's hard to shake it off.
So, definitely, yeah.
I can still strut it up there on the stage, Never Too Late. Yeah, that's the main track, the title track. Yeah, and it's quite you probably haven't heard any of it. It hasn't been released yet, but no previews out yet, I don't think. But it's quite an eclectic mix. It starts with quite a storming rock track called "Looking for the Love of My Life," which I wrote with Mark Christopher Lee, the producer. And then it goes into a kind of slow bluesy thing called Eyes of Blue. And there's quite a mixture. There's a psychedelic track on there called Doing the Apache Underwater. Never Too Late, obviously, is a full pelt rock and roll number, blistering guitars, fast pace. And, so it's quite quite a variety on there. And I think anybody who's loved music over the last, say, 20 or 30 years will probably enjoy it, because there's a lot of different influences that have probably seeped into my system and the guys I wrote it with. I grew up listening to the Beatles and Elvis and the Stones and, Hendrix, Pink Floyd, Bowie, Led Zeppelin, and more recently a band called Defiance. I discovered that. Yeah, so those are my early influences. I think probably, whether you like it or not, it seeps into the subconscious. Like when Mark and I played back Eyes of Blue and we were listening to it, we thought, that sounds like a Stones track from 1963, almost. but we hadn't intended to write it like that. It just happened that way. It's a bit like how he put the album together as well, because I met Mark at a TV studio. There was a Nub TV, I think it was called, and we just got on well. I went to see him. I played him a couple of old demos that I had, and he said, why don't we record a couple? And so we recorded one that was called Outrageous, which you can't, at the moment, unless I change the lyrics, you shouldn't be able to play it on the BBC.
Oh, right, okay.
You'll see what I mean when you hear the album.
It's a bit like a...
Think of anything outrageous.
It's a bit like Uncontrollable, John, where there's a bit of a male anatomy mentioned in that, and that's where I can't play it.
In Outrageous?
Yeah.
Have you heard it then?
I have heard it, yeah, and I said, as soon as I heard it, there was a mention of a male anatomy in there, and I thought, no, I can't play that.
Oh, you've got the album, have you?
I saw it on YouTube, believe it or not. Uncontrollable was on YouTube, the song.
Oh, Uncontrollable.
Yeah.
Sorry, did I say Uncontrollable?
Yeah.
I thought it said Outrageous.
No, Uncontrollable, John. Yeah.
Yes, the same with Uncontrollable, isn't it? I know. Unfortunately, I'm recording all these over 18 certificate. Mind you, people younger than that will know what I'm talking about. But sometimes they censor things, don't they? But you go into a school playground, you'll probably be quite shocked what you heard.
Oh, yeah.
Senior school.
So, as well as EastEnders, you've done lots of other things. I mean, one thing that always stood out when I read about you was a rebel pilot in Return of the Jedi. How did that come about?
Oh, well, I did a film about the Beatles in which I played George Harrison. And the director, Richard Markham, went on to shoot that Return of the Jedi. He said, do you want to come down for a few days? So I sat in this sort of space pod thing with a blue screen and all the rest of it, and I think my line was like, we're going in now, whatever. It's basically Blink and You Miss Me job. I mean, I'm not even credited for it, but I did work on it, and rode into town with George Lucas and Richard one time in a limousine, which was nice. Lovely. And it was interesting to watch how they shot it, with all the special effects and everything. And there's a couple of photos around of me sitting on the set in between takes. Yeah, so it was, So that was a good one to do.
Yeah,
the old Elstree Studios, half of which got turned into a Tesco's during the cinema slump. Oh, my
goodness me. So I suppose Nasty Nick really was always going to bite the dust in a way in EastEnders, wasn't he?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I often thought it'd be nice to have, if he'd carried on into old age, and just, still sort of aging punk sitting in the corner there, nursing a beer, and cursing everybody.
But
a similar sort of woman on his arm, led a very similar existence. He found his soulmate, the bride of Dracula. But you see, they get rid of characters like that, and then you think of all the things they could do. I often used to think, when Nick used to go off, right? Well, they did do one special one time, the Return of Nick Cotton, it was called, and so that was quite good. So he shot some stuff him coming out of prison, but he wasn't there for sometimes for 2 or 3 years. So where was he? What was he up to? They could have shot. They could have shot a load of stuff that he was doing off the square. But
now I've
anyway, yeah.
But now I read that you so there's too many episodes of EastEnders. I think I looked at, and if you looked at all the major soaps, you'd look at 15 episodes a week to watch. Yeah. So do you think it's too much?
Same with Corrie, actually, because you may have read some of that. I don't watch soaps now, but I was recently watching Corrie because a mate of mine was, I don't know if you watched, was playing a character called Jeff, who was playing this most appalling, abysmal, evil, controlling husband. Called Jeff, and it was a really strong storyline. I saw him on there. I thought, well, what's going on here? And that kind of hooked me because he was in it, and the storyline. I want to see him get his comeuppance. I was watching him like people used to watch Nick Cotton. So,
you wanted.
I'll stand by that. Yeah, I mean, my agent was saying, "Well, what are you doing?" Talking about that. But I stand by it, actually, because I've actually had to I couldn't keep up with all the Corrie episodes.
Yeah.
I don't know, was it about 8 a week or something? It was 2.
But you're
every night,
You're disappointed.
I don't know why they do that.
You're disappointed with June Brown not playing Dot, not having a better send-off.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah. I mean, she may go back. I don't know. Who knows? But she could have done with a better one, I think.
I'll tell you what I really enjoyed you in was the real Marigold Hotel. That was really well-made programme. Really enjoyed watching that. It's a different experiences.
You. Yeah. Good thing to have out during the lockdown as well, I thought. It was like something to cheer people up. And it was a new programme as well. And, it was good fun. There's some things were missing from it. We did so much that they couldn't put it all in all the episodes, unfortunately.
Right, okay. But it did open your eyes to what India was like, didn't it?
Mm?
It did open your eyes to what India's really like.
Well, I've been there before. I've been there about 50 years before, as a young lad, hitching around India at the age of 17. So, so it was amazing to go back on that anniversary, and so I kind of just slotted back into it all really again. I knew what it was about, Yeah.
I love Henry Blofeld, and I loved him watching up in that programme. He's a real character, isn't he?
Oh, he's brilliant, isn't he? I had a good laugh with him. He's got a great sense of humour. Marvellous voice, eh? My dear boy, my dear Wyn, let's have another beer. I managed to stoke up his.
I'll have to get in contact with him to do a jingle for me. That's brilliant, Nick. That's brilliant, John. Yeah. There we go. Anyway, John, thanks so much for being my After Five guest today. It's been a delight to talk to you. And
good to talk to you, Wyn.
And we're going to do the new single "Hallucinating You" from John Altman. Thanks so much for being my company this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Here we go.
All the best.
In the night you're there, passing through my dreams. In the morning your face is in the sunrise beams. In my mind you're the first thing before my alarm rings. Can't shake this feeling, no matter how I try. Time spent with you always seems to fly. Her hair's the same, her walk's the same, but when she turns around, it's not you I found. Hallucinating you. Hallucinating you. Your face before me, your voice in my head, your love of beauty, your humour black and red, your look that brightens every night on stage. Nothing matters to me, least of all your age. Her hair's the same, her walk's the same, but when she turns around, it's not you I found. Hallucinating you. Hallucinating you. Everywhere I go, throughout a non-stop day, for a fix of you, that's all I pray. Totally addicted to everything that's you. Hey, what's this? You're coming into view. Her hair's the same, her walk's the same, but when she turns around, it's not you I found. It's not you I found. Hallucinating you. Hallucinating you. Hallucinating